Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining Rhonda and myself for this amazing evening and sharing the information. I know you've been watching some of our posts come through. If you don't already know me, I am Jo from Back to Basics Health Solutions, and I have around about 30 plus years, I'm aging myself, in the natural therapies field. My mum is a naturopath, so I've really been around natural therapies for a lot longer. We used to have a College of Natural Medicine in Townsville. We were one of the largest clinics in North Queensland until we sort of downsized and focused on streamlining our businesses a little bit more. I got into diet nutrition. I've been specializing helping people to lose weight, and I've been doing this for 30 years. And this is because I had a weight issue after having children. And even though I studied naturopathy, I felt that I had the answers, but I really didn't because I wasn't able to control my own weight. And that's when I had a little bit of a light bulb moment. I've had actually two light bulb moments in my life. The second one I'm going to share with you as well. But the first one was that I was looking at food the wrong way. And once I turned it around, I realized that the food pyramid was totally all wrong and how food causes and works with inflammation. And if we eliminate certain foods, we can actually peel back those layers and you can start seeing weight loss results. So I've been specializing that for over 30 years and I still do it now. It's what I mostly do is help women to lose weight. Coming up to around about, believe it or not, even just 2 months ago, I come upon meeting Rhonda by seeing some of her posts. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I was really drawn to it because I started seeing her post things about collagen and more face things because I started at the age of 55, noticing that when I was looking down in the mirror, that I, beside the fact was seeing my mum's face, but it wasn't really that. It was in the back of my mind, my mum saying to me years ago, how and when did I get this old? Now, if that resonates with you, pop that in the chat, yes, because I realized that even though I felt on the inside 35, my body was still aging. Now, I still feel pretty good at 55, but then I went, well, I have to do something about this. And my mum had bought me, as she does each year, a gift voucher for a facial. So I went for a facial and we got talking about, believe it or not, and I hate to say this, but even Botox and fillers. Not that I really was going to do it, but I did have the discussion. So this winds me back to then I find that things come around in your life when you least expect it, but it's drawn to you. And then I was starting to see Rhonda's photos, and then I started then Facebook stalking her because I didn't know her, and I went, what does this lady know that I don't know? She's posting these images, she's talking about collagen, and even though I was taking collagen personally, I sort of started, and I've got my phone, I'm sending her a message. I'm like, no, backspace, backspace. I can't do that. I can't just jump on and ask her a question. And then 4 o'clock in the morning, no, backspace. Anyway, I bit the bullet and I contacted Rhonda because I could see that she knew something that I didn't know. Okay. So I'm not embarrassed to say that because I'm always here about educating myself and learning. And you guys know I practice what I preach. I never will do anything in my Facebook section if I haven't already researched it, done it, or eliminated it specifically. And that's just how I run. But anyway, so we had a bit of a chat and she started to wake my brain up to realize that there's more things happening. Now, I'm going to be talking a little bit later on about my vitiligo. You will see photos of that. Um, and how I now think this is the second light bulb moment. Autoimmune is probably just labeled autoimmune. Is it really all autoimmune or is it stemming back to the gut? Well, I'm here to share with you, ladies, it's stemming back from the gut. And that's been a big light bulb moment for me and the mitochondria. We're going to be talking about mitochondria. But anyway, we've sort of come through this journey and I've enjoyed the information that we've got. And I'm just trying to think. There was something else I was just going to share with you guys. I sort of jumped ahead. But anyway, that's fine. I will talk about more things a little bit later on. If you have any questions for me, feel free to pop that in the chat section. You guys know that I like to have a chat anyway, but I won't take too much time because I'm very aware of our time frame and I don't want to drag it on so you guys can have some dinner. So I'll bring it over to Rhonda so that she can share her story and where she's come from as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I'm so glad that you did reach out because I'm learning from you as well. And I when we stop learning, that's pretty much what my grandmother said when she passed at 100 and a half, is that the day we stop learning is when we die. And so, yeah, absolutely grateful that you reached out, because there's a lot of people that we're now helping together because we're working together. So, yeah, I won't take up too much time, but for those who don't know me, my name is Rhonda Muller. I'm based in Mackay. I was actually in Townsville for many years. My husband's ex-army, and our two youngest were born in Townsville. And so I knew very well who Robin Morrow was. And I hadn't actually met Joanne, but I had heard of her. But yeah, so I was in corporate and sales marketing and business coaching before I started to study, because I wasn't getting answers that I needed for my children, especially our baby boy. And so, long story cut short, he had significant regressive autism, which was pretty much, he was developing like his three older siblings, up and running like, at 8 months, like his two big brothers, have a chat like his big sister. But his immune system was severely compromised, and it was like someone started turning all the circuit breakers off: speech and language, gut health, bowels stopped working, skin issues, breathing issues. It was hell on wheels. And we could not get on top of it using mainstream medicine. And they just kept saying, well, here's a prescription, for this. And you go to the gastroenterologist, or, the dermatologist, or the pediatrician. And I go to the GP and they say, well, here's some antidepressants, Rhonda, because you need to calm down, or perhaps you should do a parenting course because, there's a lot going on here. It's like, okay, well, thanks for that. So yeah, very long story cut short, I was very fortunate that someone steered me in front of some exceptional information that opened up our whole world to nutrient therapy and looking at genetic profiling and gut health. And I'd always been really holistic, but when I started to incorporate all of that and started to study it and pour it into my baby boy, who was level 3, severely autistic, diagnosed in May 2008, after pretty much adjusting his diet and doing all the nutrient therapy and vitamins and minerals and microbiome therapy, and then layering all the other therapies on top, we started to see him, from sitting in the corner, bashing his head on the ground, non-responsive, non-verbal seizures, to a little boy who was totally responding, was able to pick up the ball and run. All the therapies that we were pouring into him and paying a truckload of money for was actually working. So, long story cut short, 8 years later, May 2016, on our wedding anniversary, his official diagnosis was reversed. That was never my intention. I just wanted my baby boy to be happy, to be healthy, to get through school, and get a job and meet a girl of his dreams and give me lots of grandkids, because we've got 4. And I keep saying to all children, may you be blessed with many children, because it's all about us now, right? So
Exactly.
I've been doing this for a very long time, and I'm very passionate about what I do. And what Joanne said is that all health starts in the gut, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Okay, so we're talking specifically about the business of activation, and activation is totally different to supplementation. And what we're talking about is being on the front line of the next frontier, where we don't wait for the future of healthcare, we're activating it. Because I personally believe that the old model is broken. Don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place. So you get hit by a truck, eaten by a tiger, bring on the drugs, bring on the specialists, right? But this is not about treating symptoms. This is about activating, reawakening dormant potential, reawakening what's already within us that's gone to sleep, or it's been turned off, it's been muted. We're going to be talking about how you can switch that back on. And some of this information may seem foreign or new or totally out there, but I just want to bring to your attention this doctor. He was from the 1800s, Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis, an Austrian doctor. He was a pioneer of change. He was actually known as the savior of mothers, maternity doctor. And he actually noted that all of his midwives, his nurses were reducing sepsis, reducing the infection of the risk of infection, because they were using soap. They were washing their hands with soap. And he went back to his colleagues and told them what he had found, and they ridiculed him. totally ostracized him to the point where he died a pauper, and he actually died of sepsis, that he died of infection. Horrible story, but all I'm trying to bring to your attention is keep an open mind, because just because it's new or you may not have heard of it doesn't mean that it's not going to be relevant. Okay, so let's get started. So gut health. All disease begins in the gut. Hippocrates was way ahead of his time. Skin is our largest organ. Okay, so the external skin that we see is about 1.5 to 2 square meters in surface area. The internal skin, right, the digestive tract from pretty much just the small intestine is about the surface area of 2 to 3 tennis courts. Yeah, that's just the digestive tract, not our veins, our arteries, our organs. It's absolutely crucial for nutrient absorption, our hormones, our immune, maintaining the barrier against pathogens, and regulates your body temperature, and detoxification, and way more. So the skin is relevant. It's all through us. And when it comes to the gut health, a lot of factors come into play. So you'll see, the way that you were born, whether you were a vaginal delivery or a C-section, that's going to alter your microbiome, the bacteria that we have, good guys and pathogenic or problematic. And it's really important that we've got a good balance, but it's going to be altered on how we're fed. Are we breastfed? Are we bottle fed? Have we been exposed to chemicals, the environment, any kind of medication, antibiotics? For us women, if we've been on the contraceptive pill, that's like taking antibiotics every single day. A majority of people aren't aware of that. Acetaminophen, which is paracetamol or Nurofen, or all these different pharmaceuticals are going to alter our gut health. The food that we're eating, and this is something both Joanne and myself are really passionate about, me being a functional nutritional practitioner. Food is medicine, or your slowest form of poison. And it's either going to feed the good bacteria or the unfriendly bacteria. And when we're talking about unfriendly bacteria, sorry, I've just skipped a slide. Like I was saying before, it's really important that we have that diverse range. Okay, so a lot of people, they come to me, and Joe, you're probably the same, where instead of having the Amazon rainforest, the Amazon jungle of diversity of, different species of plants and mammals and reptiles and insects and all that kind of stuff, they have a concrete courtyard with a couple of pots and plants, maybe a cat, dog, and a bird in regards to diversity. So it's really important that we have way more of the friendly bacteria than the unfriendly, the pathogenic, candida, all that kind of stuff. But unfortunately, it's quite altered. Yeah. And so put a number 1 in the chat if you've heard of leaky gut, right? Leaky gut is pretty much where things are really inflamed, things are excessively leaky. So we have everything that's where everything's all good, everything's working properly. This is the small intestine. It's keeping all the unfriendly stuff out, undigested food, etc. And then you can see the yellow layer, that's the mucosal, which is pretty much collagen. The tight junctions, again, collagen. And then all of this stuff here is keeping everything out. It's all that's being into the bloodstream are the nutrients that we've digested. We then have free radicals. If you're breathing, you're metabolizing food. If you're a mammal, you have free radicals. We cannot avoid it. But when our body's working properly, we have antioxidant molecules that we make ourselves, like little Pac-Man, to neutralize them, keep them under control. Then we have the mitochondria, and Joe touched on this before. Mitochondria is the battery in every single cell in our body. It's to give us energy, ATP, way more than go for a run like Joe does. She's, a super freak with it. She can talk. It amazes me. She does a Facebook Live while she's running, this woman, right? But it's way more than that. It's to inflate your lungs. It's to keep your heart beating, your brain functioning, all these different types of things. But when things are inflamed, when we've got excessive, unbalanced bacteria, that dissolves this mucosal layer. It dissolves the collagen. It's premature aging. And then things become excessively leaky, right? Then allowing all these things to seep through, which creates major inflammatory markers. So then our free radicals are running amok because we're not making enough antioxidant molecules to neutralize them, which then also damages the mitochondria. Become excessively fatigued, right? Put your hand up, say me if you've ever felt like this, you're dragging your feet. So there's lots of different things. 100%. That was me recovering my son and then caring for my father-in-law. I had major adrenal fatigue. And what we're talking about here tonight, we're not claiming we're healing, curing, mitigating, or reversing any kind of disease. But when you give the body what it needs, it's amazing what it can happen, right? But when it comes to leaky gut, excessively things are pouring into the bloodstream that shouldn't be happening. So then your immune system starts to arc up, right? Food intolerances, immune problems, autoimmune conditions like what Joanne was talking about, always comes back to the gut. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're labeling autoimmune just as a word. Well, I'll talk about that later, but I think it's just a word that they use because they've got no answer to it. So it's just autoimmune. We just put to autoimmune.
Yep. And it's like, when the gut's not working properly, leaky gut as another terminology, it impacts the whole body because, if we were to go to a beautiful restaurant after this and have a couple of glasses of wine, it's going to impact, because I don't drink much, it's going to impact how I speak, how I think, my processing speed is going to slow down, how I walk. So no wonder when the gut is inflamed, compromised, it's going to impact our brain, our skin, our thyroid, our colon, adrenals, joint, you name it, everything you can think of, right? And it's not just us talking about this. We have well-respected health professionals talk about this for decades. I've been on about gut health since 2008, 2009. People were looking at me as if I had two heads. But it's so, so true. It is the foundation to health or disease. And when the gut's working properly, then you're going to have that nice gut-brain connection because, they say, for example, the gut is the second brain. Well, I would probably go as to far saying the gut is your first brain because you have more neurons in the gut than you have in your spinal cord. And those neurons help with your neurotransmitters, your happy hormone, serotonin, which is, your happy hormone. A lot of people are on antidepressants, which is a synthetic form of serotonin. Don't get me wrong, it's got its place. But when the gut's working properly, we make our own serotonin, right? Which then helps with your brain, your focus, your concentration. When it's stressed, when the gut is stressed and inflamed, then you're not going to be able to make all of these, things that we're naturally born to do. And that creates even more inflammation. Okay, so it's not all doom and gloom. We can flip the switch, right? Your body is not broken. It's just been muted. It's just been switched off. But what we're going to be talking about is how you can reactivate it, right? We've talked about how the things can go wrong, bacterial imbalances, inflammation, all these things, free radicals, oxidative stress, low collagen, but we can activate it. We can get it going again. So full disclosure, we are not doctors. This is purely educational purposes only. We all say that, we're not claiming to heal, cure, prevent, mitigate, diagnose any disease. We always recommend you go back to your health professional if you have any particular questions or to see if this is the right fit for you. Okay, so LifeVantage is the activation company, and that's the company that has actually founded the activators that I've aligned myself with and have been using and recommending in clinic for 7 years. 7 years this month on the 18th of December. And when I first started with the activators, I got started because of gut health, because I knew getting on top of oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction was the foundation to gut health. You could see that in that previous slide. What I didn't realize was when I started on the activators, that my energy had come back within 3 days. I was totally burnt out, but the candle at both ends, my hair was falling out. I'd get up and do the dishes, have to lay back down. I couldn't even get into my own clinic. I'd have to work from the comfort of my own bed. When I incorporated it, it was like I had to shout this from the rooftops. But most people still have not heard about activation. There's a lot of talk about it in the media, but they don't realize they're actually talking about activation. And if you take a screenshot of this, I highly recommend. These are going to be great Christmas presents, great gifts, birthdays, Easter, whatever you would like to do, because they are talking about functional health. and they're talking about activation, they just don't realize it. So what we're talking about tonight is how can you age well, extend your lifespan as well as health span, because I think most of us would agree we're living longer, but not necessarily living a healthy health span. We're not matching that lifespan. So what we're looking at is increasing, the increasing oxidative stress that we're all being exposed to, the mitochondrial decline, collagen decline, and also GLP-1. Anyone heard of GLP-1? It's been in the news a lot lately, but we're talking all natural activation. So we're activating.
Actually, people may not realize what GLP-1 is until we tell them what it is. It's
Yeah.
under another, they use another word, which we'll talk about soon, but you'll be
Yeah.
surprised what
We'll go
GLP
over this in
actually
the
one.
Q&A,
Yeah.
100%. But yeah, we're activating dormant genes, enzymes, peptides, hormones, you name it, right? So what we're doing is we take it to make it. We empower our bodies to make their own antioxidants, proteins, enzymes, peptides, hormones, all the things that we have that innate ability to do. So these are the products that we're actually going to be talking about tonight. So it's the Protandim. Oh, looks like I've just drawn on it. I apologize for that. Protandim NRF2, Protandim NRF1, liquid collagen, and the GLP-1 activator. Yeah. So the NRF2 that came out in 2003, NRF1 2016, liquid collagen 2023, and the GLP-1 activator this year. And it's been absolutely extraordinary. So Protandim NRF2, we take it to make our own antioxidants. Protandim NRF1, we take it to help get our mitochondria and regenerating your mitochondria again. We take the liquid collagen because it helps us make our own collagen again. It supplements, makes it, but also stops any further breakdown. It maintains it. And the mind-body GLP-1 system reawakens and helps you make your own GLP-1 hormone again. So yeah, if you have never, if you've never heard of these things, you're in the right place. If you have and you've got questions, hang around for the Q&A, or go back to the person, if you're watching the recording, go back to the person who invited you, cared enough to share this with you, and they'll be able to help you. Okay, so oxidative stress, cellular rusting. Like I said, if you're breathing, if you're metabolizing food, you're going to be rusting. You're going to be aging from the inside out. Like an apple, a banana, you cut it in half, it goes brown. We cannot avoid it. It's a normal process, but what's making it worse, and what I see in clinic working with pediatric special needs, is that children are born with excessive amounts of oxidative stress already, to the level that of a 60 or 70-year-old, because our environment is way more toxic now than what it was 30, 50, 100 years ago. Yeah. Genetically modified food, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, everything we're putting on our skin, the Wi-Fi, all of these things, Joe. You'd agree, yeah?
Yeah, we're never going to get away from it. Processed foods, the chemicals sprayed on our food that we don't even see. Yeah, your Wi-Fi, it's in our house. We use it all the time on our phones. We've got
Yeah.
all this stuff happening. When you put petrol in your car, you're breathing in those fumes. You might be spraying the garden with Roundup. All this stuff will relate back to oxidative stress and inflammation without us realizing it, but it's damaging those cells
Mm.
and and basically that mitochondria component.
100%. And yeah, you've nailed it, because oxidative stress increases as we age. That's a normal process because our internal antioxidant system starts to switch off in our mid-20s, right? But what's happening is that our environment is elevating it. So the oxidative stress damages your cells, your protein, DNA, which all contributes to premature aging and health concerns. And, you can Google it yourself. You can go to PubMed, you can go to just standard Google and type in any particular ailment that you can think of and oxidative stress, and it's linked to hundreds. And so as a nutritional therapist, I always say, well, eat the rainbow, high antioxidant foods, right? We need a good diversity, because if we don't have a diverse range of food, then we're not going to be feeding a diverse range of beneficial bacteria, right? So if we're eating the same food over and over, you're not doing yourself any favors. But even when you're having that external, the exogenous forms of antioxidants, it's only a 1-to-1 ratio because you're supplementing. When we reactivate our own ability to make our own antioxidants again, it's 1,000,000 to 1. So we're wiping out 1,000,000 free radicals when we switch it back on. And how we do that is called an NRF2 pathway. And so we start to make our own antioxidants. And the antioxidants is glutathione, catalase, SOD, which is superoxide dismutase. And when you look at glutathione, you can see here, at this screen, sorry, I'm letting my dog out. With this screen, you can see how it's linked to many, many diseases and conditions. And acetaminophen has been in the newspapers recently, all over the news, which is paracetamol, Tylenol, all those types of things. It depletes your glutathione like that. So
before you go on, Rhonda, if you have a look at that chart there, if you've just got one of those things, type that in the group chat, because I know quite a fair few people, even with thyroid issues, that the doctors say there's nothing wrong with their thyroid. We know there is, but this is actually quite real, that this is affecting a lot of different areas. So just let us know in the chat if you might even have any of these things that's on the chart there.
Absolutely. And again, we're not here to diagnose, treat or mitigate anything. But when your body is depleted, right, you're going to have a dis-ease. We're out of balance, right?
Yeah.
And so what we found is that Protandim, the breakthrough, there's an ABC primetime video from 2005. If you have not seen that yet, please go back to the person who invited you, and they can show you. But this primetime video, actually, he went in, this investigative journalist, to debunk it. It's a bit like a current affair, or 60 Minutes. And he went in to disprove that they were claiming this one product that we're talking about here, Protandim NRF2. Sorry, can you see that?
Someone just wrote that they've not got a chart up on the screen. It's just green. I'm not sure why it's green, but that's okay. Keep going.
Oh, can everyone else see my
I can
screen?
see it. Yeah.
Oh, good. So yeah, this product is proving there's a US study showing that it reduces oxidative stress by 40% in the first 30 days. So that's why he went in to debunk it. But what he found was that it actually dropped his oxidative stress by 45% in 2 weeks and 70% in week 4. That was extraordinary. There was also another study where they did comparing oxidative stress of 80-year-olds versus 20-year-olds. Now, this is normal process. In our mid-20s, our level of oxidative stress starts to increase, right? And so that's just aging process. But what they found after 4 months of taking this one tablet a day was that oxidative stress all came down to the level of a 20-year-old. They could not, on a blood test, they could not identify the difference. This is extraordinary. I cannot get the same results using food or supplementation. And there are hundreds and thousands of studies coming out in PubMed every single day on oxidative stress. So this was in 2024. You can see there was 316,000 studies. And now, I only did this a couple of weeks, 381,000. So you can see there's a lot of interest in this. So Protandim NRF2, flagship product, formulated in 2003, reduces oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days, increases glutathione by 300% in 120 days. This is way more powerful than supplementation. Like, I used to refer my clients to taking glutathione, having IV drips of glutathione. Again, it's just a 1-to-1 ratio. When you take this, you make your own. It's way more powerful. And it's all natural. It's just herbs. And it's the synergy that makes it so powerful, right? It's 18 times more effective than the sum of all of its ingredients. It took over 40 years to perfect, over 2,500 formulations. It's green tea, turmeric, bacopa, ashwagandha, milk thistle. And full disclosure, when I first looked at this back in December 2018, I thought, well, I was already taking all of those. Because
I have the same thing. We have all these herbs in the clinic now, and I've had a lot of these. Same thing.
Yeah, absolutely blessed to be surrounded by functional doctors, herbalists, homeopaths, whatever I needed to try and get on top of my adrenal fatigue, it would make me feel okay. But any kind of stress or any kind of exercise, I'd crash again. It was absolutely horrendous. But within 3 days, I was back. I felt like I was back in my 20s, and I just knew I needed to shout it from the rooftops. This gentleman here is a third generation naturopath. So super healthy, super cruisy. You can see here the yellow levels. It shows his levels of oxidative stress. This is before he started taking it. 1 month after, you can see a significant reduction, but also the level of black and the tight junctions here shows an increase of absorption. You are what you eat. That's the old saying. I say you are what you absorb. And absorption on these products are extraordinary. So this is a fitness guru, and he went to his functional doctor. He showed the levels of free radicals, oxidative stress, and after 3 months, this is a live blood analysis showing everything's free flowing. So the levels of stress and the levels of inflammatory markers had significantly reduced after 3 months. Now, as a health professional, both Joe and myself, we have to keep abreast of what's going on. And for years, I'd been using sulforaphane, which is an NRF2 activator. It's a broccoli sprout. And when I heard and saw this slide from a pediatrician over in the US talking about Tecfidera, which is an MS drug, this is a Biogen IODEX study. They were doing their own study to find out what other NRF2 activators were out there. Theirs is a synthetic product, right? Quite effective, but it's synthetic. This one here was what I was using, NRF2, sulforaphane. This product here, they had to take off the market because it was killing people. This is Protandim NRF2, 7 times more effective than what I was using, double the effectiveness of what this Tecfidera was, and this is all natural, no side effects. When I saw that, that's when I got cranky because I hadn't heard of it before. My son was diagnosed in May 2008, and I started to study at the end of that year, January 2008 and January 2009, and I only heard about this in December 2018. I truly believe I would have recovered my son way faster if I'd known about this, and I would not have burnt out in the process. This is why I get loud. This is why we do events like this, because who are we to gatekeep this information? Now, when you're aging, the environment, all these things, our survival genes become overexpressed or underexpressed. This is the gene frequency. This is what leads to diseases and conditions. When you take this product, 1 tablet a day, right? 1 bottle per decade that we've been on the planet. So I'm closer to 60. If I was to start today, I'd have to give it a minimum of 6 months, taking it 1 every day. When you do that, this is what the science shows. Everything starts to balance out. Your body can take a chill pill, for want of a better description, and start to naturally heal and recover. This is exactly what we want. So you can use food, but you would need about 6 kilos of blueberries every single day. Or you can have 375 oranges a day, 120 vitamin C tablets, or 87 glasses of wine. I like my pink wine, but that's a bit rich. Or you can have a kilo of dark chocolate daily. Yeah, that's a bit too much. Or you can just take 1 tablet a day. And this lady here, that's exactly what she did. Back in 2016, she was virtually diagnosed 72% disabled. She was taking 3 lots of morphine a day, and it didn't even touch the pain. And you fast forward to when she found NRF2 activation, it totally changed her life. She started rock climbing again. That's not luck. That's not another prescription. That's her body doing what it was designed to do. Once it got the right messaging, right? Once it was reawakened. And she said, her words, I was on 16 pills a day, and every 3 weeks getting 40 injections into my back. My entire back was a knotted mess. It was like I was drinking 12 beers a day. No wonder I felt whacked. I could not function. From 1996 until 2019, I searched and searched for answers for the pain. 19 health issues, gone, moving freely. Her words, extraordinary. 1 tablet a day. Okay, so we're going to move on now to mitochondria. So mitochondria is the little organelles, the little batteries in every single cell, right? And so it's a bit deceiving because it looks like there's only maybe 1 or 3 in every cell. But when you look at, for example, the heart, you have about 10,000 mitochondria per heart cell. Same with your lungs, same with your brain. Our muscles, about 200. Our ovaries, 100,000 mitochondria. And that is energy, right? It's for reproducing healthy cells. And when the mitochondria is dysfunctional, it's leaky, like leaky gut, right? You're then, instead of producing a lot of ATP, a lot of energy, and only a small amount of free radicals, you're producing stuff all ATP, very little energy, and spewing out a truckload of free radicals. This is why I say you will never heal the gut until you address this. Yeah, this is why I aligned. And again, you can Google mitochondrial dysfunction. You can Google it and see all of the issues or the diseases and conditions that it's linked to. Again, we're not claiming to heal, cure, mitigate, diagnose, or reverse anything. But when you give the body what it needs, extraordinary things happen. And that's what happened to me. And it's also happened to my son. And I have hundreds and hundreds of clients who have been using this since December 2018. Okay, so this is Protandim NRF1. It's going to help your mitochondria to repair and replicate healthy mitochondria. It reduces free radicals formed in the body. It helps to decrease the radical damage to your cells and enhances energy. So when I'm talking, like, not necessarily just going for a run, but focus, concentration, it's going to help the brain fog lift. It's going to help focus, concentration. It's just remarkable. And these are some of the before and afters of, you know, many of the children that I've worked with in clinic. And yes, we have pediatricians using and recommending these products. We have cardiologists, neuroradiologists, you name it. Okay, so we also wanted to touch on quickly in regards to the probiotic, because probiotics are absolutely crucial. We need to feed the gut with the right beneficial bacteria. So LifeVantage have a beautiful probiotic. What I love about this is the delayed release technology. So it takes about an hour for the capsule to dissolve. So we can guarantee 60% of that beneficial bacteria gets to where it needs to go. We also have a brain food drink. It's called Axio, and we take it to help make our neurotransmitters. This is virtually brain food, but it's also reducing your cortisol, which then helps to balance your gut, right? So the gut-brain connection, all of that is absolutely crucial. And a lot of people who get started on the activators often get started on this. If they don't get started on that, they definitely get started on the collagen. And this is what Joe got started on. So let's talk about the collagen. So like I was saying, your gut lining is made from collagen. You know, all the food folds that keep your food inside are formed by collagen, yada, yada, all of it. Pretty much we lose 1% every year after our 20s. UV, glyphosate, like Joanne was talking about, Roundup, right? UV damage, stress, toxins, all of the above, even high sugar. If you're eating sugar, it increases your age, premature age, because it breaks down collagen really, really fast. And if there's any kind of intergenerational trauma, any kind of stress, that's definitely going to impact it, but so does menopause. Holy dooly, our collagen really, really declines as soon as we've hit 50, and throw menopause into the mix. It's just not fair. So there's lots of different types of collagen on the market. Can you see my screen? All good. So this photo here, I actually took that at Coles, and I was gobsmacked at. They're selling these as collagen, and half of them don't even actually have collagen inside them. You can use bone broth, like we do cooking workshops and all that kind of stuff, beautiful bone marrow, all that kind of stuff. That's, you know, gelatin is just cooked collagen pretty much. But it's really important that you're getting the right types. Obviously, getting it from food is important, but, you know, you're not going to get really what you'll need really quickly. So the liquid collagen that LifeVantage brought out It activates, reawakens your body to make its own collagen again. It replenishes and maintains, stops any further breakdown. So most people think immediately hair, skin, and nails, beauty
Mm,
industry, vanity.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
more than.
oh yeah, 100%. Our bones are 40% collagen. Our eyes are 90% collagen. So it's absolutely crucial that we get our collagen working again. And so the liquid collagen that LifeVantage has 10 different peptides, 10 different types of collagen. And we're not going to have time to go through all these, but if you want more info, please reach out. But I want to bring to your attention type 18 and type 28. We're thinking lines all the blood vessels and regulates your bloodstream and surrounding tissues. Yeah. Type 28, spinal nerves, all the neurotransmitters, remembering neurotransmitters in the gut. We have more in the gut than the spine, right? But the central nervous system, think cognitive decline. These are huge, absolutely huge. So some of the before and afters, definitely visuals. We will touch on that a little bit, but there's other collagens out there on the market, but I just want to bring to your attention, we've got collagen that we have, which is the True Science liquid collagen. We activate collagen. Others do not. We replenish. Yes, they do. We maintain. They don't. Ours is marine. It's hydrolyzed, meaning it's functional food. We can absorb it, readily available. You drink it. It's a little 50 ml bottle, and you drink one of these every single day. I actually swallow my tablet of Protein Amino 2 with my liquid collagen every single day without fail. If I could only choose two products, it would be those two.
And also, too, when we look at collagen, I mean, I've had collagen in my clinic. I've used big name brands, I mean, practitioner range brands. And I'll talk about my knee in a little bit of a minute. But I have used lots of powders with no fillers in them. I mean, you can get a lot of different protein powders and other things with collagen in. But I've used other ones. And when I started and changed over to this collagen, this is when my knee pain literally disappeared. I started to come and see Rhonda originally for my face component because that was the collagen and aging, etc. And I was very keen and curious about this. By default, in 2.5 weeks, not even 3 weeks of me being on changing the collagen, I was already taking collagen, but changing collagen, I went from a person who used to run 17Ks. I actually did an event on Magnetic Island, did a 17K. It was meant to be a hike, but Joe ran it. I ran it. So I didn't have an issue in running it. And that wasn't the issue and why my knee hurt. Something happened. I don't know what happened. And I've been to many doctors. I went to the Cowboys doctors. I had all these tests done. They literally said, Joe, there's nothing wrong with you. And I'm like, well, there clearly is. I can't kneel down. It hurts. I pick my grandson up, but I can't put him down. I was walking like an old lady. I felt like an old lady. I couldn't do a K. If I did, I paid for it the next day. So when I changed collagen without knowing about it, all of a sudden, within, as I said, like 2.5 weeks, I noticed that my knee wasn't hurting, and I didn't realize or sort of associate at the particular time. And I was talking to one of my friends at the gym, and I said, "Can you believe my knee's not hurting anymore?" And she said, "What are you taking?" I said, "Well, I've only just been taking collagen and sort of activating my cells and looking at things a little bit differently." And I was blown away that I could then run. I'm back running now. I haven't run for 6 months. Okay. So it's doing more. There's a couple of things I've got more to share as well. But I can tell you, I was hobbling like an old lady. I was feeling like an old lady.
Yeah.
And I've even got a story. Actually, let me just share one more quick one, Rhonda, just because I know that this will relate to the collagen. One of my clients who came to our seminar in Townsville, she came for herself. She sent me a message and she said, Joe, I quizzed Gary on how he's feeling. Now that he lays carpet and flooring for a business. He usually takes fish oils, but on the weekend he was away. He only took the collagen and the activation with him. And usually he would be in all aches and pains. But he said he doesn't have any at all and he's putting it down to the collagen. Now, she just said, I think we can run our business for another couple more years. They were going to look at retiring. And
Wow.
that literally, she just sent me that yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's life changing. And
Mm.
there's just so many stories, like this slide says, documentation beats conversation. This lady here, Betty, I've met her in person, and that's just extraordinary. And the men, it's so unfair that they bounce back so much faster than us. But it's way more than just beauty. Yeah, it's function, it's elasticity, skin conditions that are improving, and stretch marks, and cellulite, and just that hydration of the skin.
Mm.
And same with these ladies here with the neck, the turkey neck and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I absolutely love these two products. Like I said, if I could only have two, it would definitely be this. And we always recommend, if you're going to go down this avenue, rather than buying them individually, you get it as a stack, because it's going to be cheaper for you. And yeah, whoever's invited you, they can give you a 10% discount off that. Okay, so I just want to touch real quickly on this slide. This is what I spoke about before. And I want to bring to your attention down here, where in the red circle, the inflammatory markers. When the gut is leaky, when everything's, you've got oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction, and the wrong bacteria running amok, these inflammatory markers are going to be sky high. Yeah. And so when they're sky high, then that leads to a whole host of other problems. And this is where we keep coming in with looking at like the interleukin 1Bs, etc., and the other interleukins. So I just quickly bring to your attention here, look at this, interleukin 1B. When you take these two products, and this is all independent science, right? Not just us coming up with stuff. When you take these two products together, the Healthy Glow Stack, it reduces interleukin 1B by 97%. Every single one of these are inflammatory markers. There's so many things. If you want to find out what they're all linked to, you definitely want to stay back at the Q&A, and I can tell you how it is. All right, Jo, hand it over to you, sexy legs.
Hello, these are my did you put my other sexy legs in, or just these
I
ones?
did. Do you want me to finish that one?
No, that's all right. I'll talk on this first. So you'll see that I've had vitiligo. Look, it doesn't worry me. I've had this for literally 25 years of my life. I did go through a stage, it was in my early 30s, that I tried covering up. I can't say I was embarrassed, but I sort of was trying to, I'd look at makeup, and I just didn't know why. I went to doctors. They just said it's autoimmune. No one knows why you have vitiligo. It's autoimmune. And I thought, okay. And as we went forward in life, I realized I couldn't change. I tried many tablets. I've tried potions, herbs, etc. I did speak to Kerry Bone. Now, Kerry Bone is the head, or was the head, of MediHerb, and he actually does a lot of good information and research into herbs, basically. And I spoke to him one time at a seminar, and I said, "Hey, Kerry, what do you think I can do for my vitiligo?" And he said, "Well, it's going to come back to stress." And he mentioned a couple of different things. And I said, "Well, I don't think I'm very stressed at the moment." I said, "But I do exercise and I enjoy exercising." And I said, "I'm doing the Townsville to Cairns bike ride, right? So it's over 3 days. Yeah, I know, crazy. But I did the Townsville to Cairns bike ride." And he said, "Well, if you're going to keep doing things like that, you're going to be stressing out your body. You will never get rid of your vitiligo." And I went, "Okay, big girl pants, get used to it, Joe. It's not going to change. I'm not going to change what I'm doing. I have to enjoy life." When we look at gut, when Rhonda said earlier on, it actually, this is one of the things that made sense to me when she said about Panadol. When I was younger and a teenager, I had massive migraines. I always had migraines, and I had boils. Now, this related back to sugar. We didn't know about this back then, but sugar activated my boils quite quickly, and that's how I got to learn a lot about diet, nutrition, and inflammation, and food. But I had a lot of Panadol, and so much so when I actually had an endoscopy, um, I thought that they would actually rouse on me, because I thought I probably ruined my gut lining. Anyway, I hadn't, apparently. But when Rhonda mentioned it in the talk a fortnight ago, I went, actually, that makes sense. It could have been the stem of even the vitiligo, because it comes back to gut and digestion, right? And then when we look at the foods that we eat, let's be real. You're probably only getting 40% absorption from your normal vitamin minerals now from your food. And that's because of the type of foods that we're eating. We go to Woolworths and Coles, they store our food for over a year. They sort of have them, and they pre-cook them. They pre-pick them before they're even ripe. We're losing the nutritional component even from our food. So it sort of started making sense. And even though I have vitamin minerals, there still was another issue that was bugging me. I take magnesium, right? Always have taken magnesium if you have cramps or you exercise. And plus, it works for every cell and every muscle in your body, which Rhonda will tell you about. But I was still cramping. And I'm like, how do I still cramp? I can't put any more magnesium down. And I even changed all the different types of magnesium. So then I thought, okay, there's something else wrong. And then when I changed over a few things, as I said, I changed over the collagen purely for my face. I wanted to reactivate my lines, make them not as indentated, or indentated is even a word, but not as deep. And I've noticed that within not even 2 months, someone said to me the other day, "Jo, actually, you know what? I can notice your face has changed." And I said, "Can you?" She said, "Yeah." Actually, it was one of my friends I go walking with, who in 2 weeks, she said to me yesterday, actually, I can notice it myself. So she even noticed it. She's Swedish. She still looks bloody good anyway. For I think she's in her 60s. She always looks good. But when I took the collagen, I noticed that my knee had changed and I was no longer hurting, which blew my mind because I didn't do it for my knee. It was a side effect from the collagen, which I think was bloody amazing. As I said, I paid out lots of money to the Cowboys doctors. I've been to other doctors as well. They told me that there was nothing wrong with me. There was nothing wrong with me. But clearly there was, because within 2.5 weeks, I was starting to run back again. And then I was also noting some brown spots come back onto my skin. So my skin is normally, as you can see there, it's normally the darker brown. I'm not actually white, and then the brown's there. It's the other way around. And I would say the vitiligo didn't come until I was in my mid-30s, and it probably covers about 40% of my body now. Well, sort of used to, because as you can see, even down on my shins, it's starting to enclose in, and I feel that it's actually reversing quicker than it grew. It's taken 25 years to get to be where I am today, but I can see quite quickly there's a reversal. And then this comes to the second light bulb moment that I have. I'm starting to reactivate that mitochondria. I'm starting to use that collagen in my gut. And there's all these things tick, tick, tick. I'm actually thinking better and more clearer. Not that I can't, but when you work at home, sometimes we can be what I call free radicals. We can be all over the place. I seem to have more structure, more format. I'm getting things done more. I was procrastinating a little bit before. And now I feel like I've got this different energy. I can't say I've got more exercise energy because I already was running on a high level, but I have a different brain energy that I'm focusing within my business. And as I said, as we all know, if you have your own business, it's hard to be sometimes self-motivated, but it's rejuvenated that inner ability that I can be more creative, and I'm helping more people, and I'm literally everywhere. So they're the things that I think is absolutely amazing. And it's all coming back, I believe, to the gut health, that collagen, and activating the cell walls. I didn't even know what NRF2 was until I saw Rhonda's post. I Googled it. I thought, I don't even know what NRF2 is. I can't contact Rhonda because she'll think I'm a ninny. But it's about educating. If you don't know, research it. And if you don't know, contact a person who does know, because they're going to be more than happy to share it.
Absolutely. And the old saying is, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room,
Mm.
really, because we always need to be, expanding and learning. And I'm like you, Jo. I honestly, I'm always reaching out to people because it's like, well, how does that work? What is that? Used to drive my mother insane, but why? All these
Yeah.
things. But yeah, okay. So let's get cracking. Thank you so much for sharing that. So yeah, some of the other before and afters as well. This is function. This is what Jo was talking about with her knee and stuff. This is a lady that could not even really put her hand flat, and this is just 36 days. Another, look at that. It looks so painful. It almost brings tears to my eyes just thinking of how uncomfortable this woman would have been. And this lady, 82 years old and 6 weeks on the healthy glow stack, it looks like mother and daughter. Another gentleman, he was in so much pain for so long and just going round and round in circles. Yeah, it's just, I think pain free within 3 months, and his skin was clear in 5.5 months, was back at work, able to do like this. This man was in such chronic state, not only with his physical health, but also his mental health, because he was not getting answers for years. Yeah. 4 years. So yeah, to me, that's worth a million, yeah, I don't know, prayers, if
It's
you could put it that
priceless.
way.
It's literally priceless.
Yes,
You can't put a money on your health. You've
no,
got two industries. You have the sickness industry and the wellness industry.
yeah,
I know every single one of my clients wants to be the healthiest version of themselves. No one wants to be in the sickness industry. No one
no,
wants to be reliant on cholesterol, blood pressure medication, metformin, or any of the other type medications. Everyone that I know wants to become the healthiest version of themselves. And that's why we excel in what we do, because every single day we're touching someone's lives in helping them to become the healthiest person.
absolutely. I love it. I love it. So what else can we activate? So can we help our body make something that helps with hormones, peptides, and weight loss? Yes. And it's 100% available now. And this is where the GLP-1 comes in. So I'm not going to have time to go through all this, but pretty much it restores the communication pathway, the gut-brain axis. Like I was talking about the gut, a lot of the communication starts in the gut, 90% up to the brain, and 10% from the brain down to the gut. This helps to also reawaken it. And what I personally noticed when I started on it was that my inner tuition, my intuition, your female intuition, whatever you want to call it, had over the years become a little bit muted. And within, no joke, within like probably 2 weeks, it just came back on. It was like, you know how you can sort of walk into a room and you can read the room, you get that gut feeling. It
Gut
was,
instinct.
yeah, instinct was back. It was amazing. So reduces hunger signals, cravings. You feel satisfied. It slows the rate at which the food leaves the stomach. So it's not gastroparesis or anything like that. It helps absorption. It's absolutely extraordinary. Blood sugar regulation, cardiovascular, mood, neuroprotection. Like it's extraordinary. When you think neuroprotection, we have a neuroradiologist using and recommending these products, all of the activation products, and this one as well. So yeah, and GLP-1 is a hormone that we pretty much have in the gut. We make it in the gut. Sorry, I think I've jumped a couple of slides. Sorry, bear with me. No, there we go. My
No, that was
thing's a
fine.
bit slow. But yeah, this one here is increases your GLP-1 hormone by 220%. So those injections that have been in the news with significant court cases, significant side effects, right? They actually force a synthetic hormone into your body and pushes down your natural endogenous, your innate ability to make your own GLP-1 hormone. So you end up with a deficit, right?
They actually also put another research too that it's also ruining the gut lining. Just
Yeah,
read that one just yesterday. Gut
yeah, yeah,
lining, and
yeah.
it's
Oh,
being known. Yeah.
there's just so many eye issues, frail bone issues. There's
Muscle
just
weakness.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's very, very scary. So we have a 12-week study showing that pre-diabetics were no longer fitting that criteria. And yeah, so we're taking this to help us make our GLP-1 hormone. I'm just
The one
waiting.
that's in your body already.
Already. And it's not just in the gut, it's in the brain, it's in the heart, it's in the pancreas. So GLP-1 receptor sites all through your body. And again, we take it to make it. So Tyler, he lost 11 kilos in 12 weeks. Didn't change anything at all. He was just adding this in. Same with Kimberly. Kim lost 6.8 kilos and 10 centimeters off her waist. This is me, down 6 kilo in 8 weeks. And I wasn't exercising because I'd sprained my ankle so badly. I could not walk on it. It was that so full on. And as you can see, yeah, there was significant changes. Same with this woman on the left. She's a doctor. This is her husband. He did not change anything. He didn't deprive himself, didn't give up alcohol, didn't even step foot in the gym, and yet saw significant improvements. And the if you want the clinical study or anything, reach out, because I'm only touching over this really quickly, but I just wanted to show that it decreases the body fat by 8.6%. Subcutaneous fat decrease 8.1. But this one here, the visceral fat, this is the fat around your organs, right? Think, like fatty liver and all that kind of stuff, down by 18.8% in just 12 weeks.
And the more fat you have around the liver, the harder it is to
Yep.
lose weight.
Yes. Yeah, because your liver can't detox.
Mm.
Right. And so we hold on to all the chemicals, all the toxins, the heavy metals and everything, because the fat is cocooning all the heavy metals. So we can't detox. The old saying is if you're moody, you're cranky, you're tired, you've got SH1T on the liver, right? That's the old take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl, right? But look at this. While all those synthetic GLP-1 hormone shots decrease skeletal muscle, we increase it by 7.2%. So these are some of the before and afters. Again, just 12 weeks, or actually I think that's even less than 12 weeks. That's like just over 2 weeks. But yeah, huge. And it's not just the scales, or it's how people are feeling. Like this person here was saying she used to have chronic constipation, and within 3 weeks she's going daily. That's huge, right? Sleep is improved. Rheumatoid arthritis has improved. And again, we're not claiming anything, but there's just so many things here that we can go over, but we just don't have the time. So optimizing your mind-body system, we currently have 20% off. So if you want more information, reach out. But we have all different sections to get started. You can get started as a customer and get 10% off. You can join us if you're passionate about health. If you're thinking of everyone, in your life that's going to benefit, reach out to us, because we would love to talk to you. You can get your own affiliate link, but there's all different packages. You can come in on a platinum pack, pretty much everything that we've spoken about tonight. Or you can step it down onto the gold, then the silver, or the bronze. And the bronze is the bare minimum that I'd be really recommending, depending on your circumstances and obviously your budget. So now is the time to get loud about activation. We are not the only health professionals using and recommending it. We have, like I said, cardiologists, we have ophthalmologists and personal trainers, physiotherapists, beauty therapists, even hairdressers, chiropractors, massage therapists, all using and recommending it. Hairdressers are just loving it because your hair is just growing all the time. So yeah, we have to go back every 6
And I'll
to
be
12.
interested when I go to my hairdresser next week. I am grey. I'm okay to be grey. I'm 55, right?
Yeah.
But I can see new hair growth. I colour my hair grey to be grey, but I can see new hair growth that's coming through that is my natural colour. I don't even know if I even know what my natural colour is anymore, but it literally is growing out more natural. I'm still going to be grey. We're not going to get rid of that, but there's more other colour in there than what was happening before.
Yeah, absolutely. And even my hairdresser, she's noticing such an improvement all the time. So yeah, we're publicly traded on NASDAQ. LifeVantage is listed with the TGA. It's approved by the Banned Substance Control Group, meaning Olympians take this, and you know how stringent they are. It's listed with the NSF. So the NSF is whatever's on the bottle has to be in the bottle, in the capsule, in the tablet. There's no rights or wrongs. Erin Brockovich is heavily aligned and involved with LifeVantage on the board of directors. She's one of the advisors, and you can buy shares in this company, right? Really credible company. We've been on TV. Many people have written about the products. We have over 26 independent peer-reviewed studies on PubMed from Harvard University, American Heart Association, you name it. There's just so many, I can't go through them all. And still, we are virtually unheard of. Most people have not heard of LifeVantage, have not heard of activation, have not heard of NRF2 or anything like that. So that's why we're getting loud, because we've experienced the changes within ourselves, but also what we see in our family and in our clients. So if this is something you're interested in, please reach out, get back to us, because we're here to support you and get you started. So I'll just close off with this. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. And my husband actually saw this and he flipped it through to me. He said, we either find a way or we fade away. And I believe that's so true. So I just want to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for organising this, Jo. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking. And yeah, I would just say again, if anyone's got any questions or anything, please go back to the person who invited them, and we can get more information to you.
Yeah, and
I'll
it's
just
about change. It's about changing from the inside out. You can go to a doctor. As I said, we don't have issues with going to a doctor's, but I want you to have a think about this. I call it the band-aid therapy. If you go to a doctor, they're going to put a band-aid on your problem, and then because we have symptoms, that's why we go to a doctor. But they'll put a band-aid on, which could give you a medication, and then that medication could then have a domino effect and cause another symptom. So then you go back into the doctors and they put another band-aid on. What we have to do here is really have a look at the holistic component on what are your underlying health issues, and then how can we make this better? Because it's all connected, whether you've got irritable bowel, whether you've got acne, whether you've got digestive issues, reflux, all these things are ways your body is talking to you, and it is connected still to the stomach because everything has to come down here. So we don't want to have the band-aid, but if you can then go back and repair your body, eat healthy as we all want to do, but even the word healthy and eating healthy is a little bit hard too because marketing has been carried away and it can be labeled healthy, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's nurturing and nourishing your body. So this is why we have to look at what else is happening so that we can help activating your cells so that you can get better. I want you to all feel just as good as I feel, just as good as Rhonda feels. Because why do we want to be sick? I mean, it's no different than my mum. My mum's 80. So who do you think I shared it first up? My mum. Now, my mum's a naturopath and she is a healthy 80, but she walks with a hobble, right? And that's because she had an accident overseas one time. She fell over on her hip. Anyway, it damaged her hip, and she's in pain a lot of the time. She still walks. She used to be a power walker, right? Well, I call her a power walker because we used to walk and I used to run to catch up with her. Now we went Christmas shopping on Saturday or Friday. Now, mum normally stops to have a breath because she's had pneumonia quite a fair amount of time. So she's had the scarring on her lungs and she has to take a minute to breathe. Now, this day we went shopping. She literally was ahead of me. I was literally skipping to catch up with her. Now, my mum hasn't walked like that for I cannot remember how long. And I'm saying, Mum, you're just like a Zyrtec today. Like, what are you doing? And she said, "Oh, actually, now that you've said that, I feel a lot freer, and I am walking more." I said, "Mum, you're walking fast again." So these are the things that sort of can change, but you've got to look at other things. And as I said, we're naturopaths and we've been doing this for 30, my mum's 80, for a long time. But it's about finding the right things to help yourself. But yeah, but anyway, besides that, thanks guys for listening. I just had to share a story about my mum as well because I think it's amazing.
Yeah, and I totally agree. So yeah, I just want to say thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Please, if you want to stay for the Q&A, yeah, hang around. Otherwise, thank you for your time. Take care.